one and only Jake Paul himself. Jake, so great to have you with us. Tell us, how did this fight come about?
Yeah, thank you for having me. An honor to be here. But this all started in my locker room from my last fight when I knocked out Ben Askren. So Tyron was actually in the locker room to watch me get my hands wrapped because he was in Ben Askren's corner for that fight. And I just looked up at him. I was like, yo, I'm about to knock your boy out in one round. And he's like, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Boom. Knock his boy out in one round. And then, you know, the narrative is built in. Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley next.
Wow. So, Jake, back in December, you were offering Conor McGregor $50 million to box you. And then yesterday at your press conference, you said you might offer him $23 to box you. So is he now no longer qualified to box you? Is it a thing of the past?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we'll see what happens. But, you know, I'm kind of just trolling, half serious, half not. You know, I still think Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor would be one of the biggest pay-per-views in the history of boxing. But look, man, I don't want to fight losers. The guy keeps on losing. You know, his act is being exposed, and he's on a downhill trajectory. My career, my boxing is on an uphill trajectory. So, you know, I got $23 for him, and he could buy 23 McChickens with that.
So what would happen if you guys did box at this stage and age of his career?
You know, I think it'd be a good fight. I think it would go to a decision. But
really,
you know, I'm the bigger guy. I'm faster. I'm stronger. And look, I'm in my athletic prime. I'm more motivated than ever. And, you know, he's got the money now. You know, he doesn't have that hunger, that drive that you do when you're still trying to obtain, you know, the biggest goals. And so, you know, that would be a good fight. But I would pull off the victory for sure.
And by the way, you did have created for you the little miniature sleeping Conor necklace. And now you've given it to Poirier to auction off to charity. What inspired you to have that made in the first place?
Look, I just came up with the idea, and I hit up a couple jewelers, and they were like, okay, like, we can get it done. It's going to cost you $100K. And I was like, very, very worth it. You know, I think my chain, it might have been the reason. It's like a little voodoo doll.
Yeah.
And I was sitting ringside, and he actually was going around the octagon before the fight, and he like stared at me and like tried to like shadow box. And I just pointed at my chain, and then look what happened. So, I mean, I don't know. You tell me.
Maybe you hexed him.
But, Jake, you talk about Conor not having the same desire after making the amount of money that he made. But you're a very successful YouTuber. You do very well. Why do you have the desire to get in and train and possibly go toe-to-toe with Conor? What makes you so different than you believe what Conor is now after he's made the money?
You know, I still have a lot to prove in this sport. Up until a fight ago, people didn't think I could really fight at all. And by the way, people still think that. And so I have a massive, massive chip on my shoulder, and I fight for a different reason. You know, the money is cool, and that'll always be one of my motivating factors. But I just feel like my whole life has been a fight, and people have, you know, kicked me while I was down, haven't respected my name or my career. You know, I'm 24 years old, and some of the things I've done, you know, I'm pretty proud of. And I don't think people really put respect on my name. And so I'm fighting to show people who Jake Paul really is, because there's a narrative about me in the media that just really isn't true. And my whole life has been a fight, and I fight for my family and my friends, and we all just have a massive chip on our shoulder, like I said.
So go ahead, Shannon.
You do realize that in order for you to get the kind of respect that you believe you deserve, you're going to have to fight a guy that has a boxing background, and probably, even though he's not, I'm not saying go fight Keith Thurman. I'm not saying fight Earl Spence or someone like that. But you're going to probably have to fight someone with that type of a background in order for you to get the respect that you believe you deserve.
100%. And that is on the agenda. You know, if you look at Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, and you look at their fourth or fifth pro fight, they're fighting guys who no one else has heard of. A lot of these boxers are padding their records anyways. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to challenge myself more and more and more with each one of my opponents. And so the level of competition is going to increase. I plan on fighting pro boxers. I eventually want to take down Canelo Álvarez in the next 3 years. And people think I'm crazy, but they also thought I was crazy when I was going to go to fight Nate Robinson. They were like, he's a dunk champion. He's an elite athlete. He's going to take your head off.
Yeah, Jake. I mean, if people would have thought you was crazy if you thought you could beat him in a one-on-one basketball game. Canelo Álvarez is a whole different ball. You can make a case he's one of the 5 best fighters of all time. He's run through the 160, the 168 division. He's an animal. And you talk about fighting him?
Look, I've been sparring with some of the best people in the world in the gym, in the boxing gym, and going round after round after round. And I am prepared in the next 3 years to take on Canelo because I truly believe in my heart that it will happen. It makes sense from a business standpoint. And look, he's been fighting guys like Yildirim, the Turkish warrior, who could only go 3 rounds with him and threw 3 punches at him. So if that guy can get in the ring with Canelo, then of course Jake Paul can. And people again forget that I'm the bigger guy by a lot, height, weight. And I can cut down and have that weight advantage, and that's a big thing in boxing. And so I see it happening. Call me crazy, but I'm setting goals for myself, and that's what motivates me every single day in practice is to think in the back of my head that I might be fighting Canelo in the next 3 years.
So Jake, how big are you right now? What do you go? What are you 6 what, and are you 190 in that range?
I'm 6'1" and like 200, 205.
205. Ooh. So you would, for Canelo, you might outweigh him by what?
Well, you'd have to come down
pounds?
to what? You'd probably fight him at what, 168, 175, and then go back up?
Yeah, I'd probably have to cut to 170. If we were doing it for an actual belt, 168. So, it would be a big cut. But, those are the sacrifices you have to make if you want to be a champion.
Or would he agree to fight you at your weight, right? Because he's the more accomplished fighter.
100%, Skip. Like, I think he would underestimate me and be like, oh, like, whatever, like, you can weigh whatever you want. I'm going to take you out. And we saw what happened when my brother had the weight advantage over Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Gassed him out. Floyd
did.
Wasn't expecting that hard of a fight. And so, in the next 3 years, I'm not saying I could beat Canelo right now. That'd be foolish to say and to think. But 3 years from now, with the team I have, with the dedication I have, I know I can do it.
So I wanted to ask you about this, as silly as it might sound. Remember the day at the press conference, you snatched Floyd's hat off his head and ran with it for a little bit, and then his bodyguards came after you. It was like you were ready to fight his bodyguards for the hat. And I had a longtime boxing insider I have nothing but 1,000% respect for, immediately text me and said, that kid, Jake Paul's got something, like he's got big you-know-whats, that you were fearless in that scene. You were ready to fight, fist fight for the hat if it came down to that. What happened? What was going through your mind at that point?
I kind of just wanted to cause some trouble, ruffle some feathers, and get inside of Floyd Mayweather's head. And I saw him wearing that hat, and I was like, I need to take that. And I'm not afraid of anyone or anything. And maybe it was crazy, but that's where my nickname, the Problem Child, comes from. When I'm boxing, when I'm doing crazy stunts like that, it's like a different persona.
So what's the expectation in the Tyron Woodley fight? Is it going to go the distance? Are you going to get him out of there? It's going to the cards? Because he says he's trying to get you out of there.
Yeah, look, Tyron Woodley, 5-time UFC champion, a phenomenal striker, KO power. He's a serious guy, and me and my coaches know that. This is a high risk fight. However, the training we're doing, the work we're putting in, I am sharper than ever. I'm sparring with guys who are better than Tyron. And August 29th, in my hometown, Cleveland, Ohio, I will finish him in less than 3 rounds. People are saying Sons in 4. I'm saying Jake in 3.
Ooh. And how much more will you weigh on fight night than Woodley?
I think we're pretty even. You know, he's a stocky, buff guy. He's like a little fire hydrant, like super buff, super built up. So we're actually about the same weight right now. So we're both going to be cutting down to 190, and then we'll probably float back up to like 195 for the actual fight.
So Jake, sum it up for us. What's your ultimate goal in all this? What if you could achieve the greatest goal in Jake Paul's mind right now? What would it be?
Look, my goal is to put on some of the most historic, biggest pay-per-views of all time, and take down these fighters one by one, and to build the sport of boxing. It's a new era in boxing. It's making a big comeback. You know, boxing was ranked the 4th most popular sport out of the Gen Z and millennials, and I plan on leading that movement. And I'm launching my foundation called Boxing Bullies, where we're putting as many gloves into the hands of kids as possible and fighting against cyberbullying, because it's such a big problem. And I want to just use my platform as I grow through these fights to, fight back against bullying, put gloves in kids' hands, and really make a difference and grow the sport of boxing as a whole.
Good for you.
Awesome.
Good luck, but I think you might need to push that Canelo fight back about 2 more years. Make it 5 years, Jake.
Let's let him get through next month.
Yeah.
Jake, honestly, that was really interesting. Thank you for joining us. We are going to be watching as we continue to follow your growing career right now, so we'll check in with you again very soon, and best of luck in your hometown next month.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.